Okay, hello to all. Thank you for visiting our Friday briefing. We had a few technical difficulties, so we're having to actually do this recording a couple of days later. But we encourage you to visit us each Friday for our Friday briefings, where we will discuss, again, this is L7 Solutions, but each Friday we try and discuss something dealing with AI, cybersecurity, or managed cloud services for small businesses like yourself. So we encourage you to visit us, and hopefully we can teach you a few things, and we can learn a few things together. But as for our meeting today, we will go ahead and get started. So, what we have here is we are going to be discussing today why cybersecurity should be a concern for every small business. And we just want you to kind of understand the risks, solutions, and the role of AI within that, because AI is definitely becoming uh, a tool that is um, used greatly in a lot of businesses. Some businesses are very hesitant to use it. Some are jumping right in, and maybe jumping right in without the right precautions. So we encourage you to um, take a listen to this and see where AI might or might not fit into your business, and where a few other things, especially when it comes to cybersecurity, because when it comes down to it, all of this revolves around cybersecurity. Um, Cybersecurity is the foundation for your business, and the reason that we're actually doing this particular briefing is because I've come across recently a few businesses that say cybersecurity isn't a real issue for them, isn't important to them. And in this age of technology and how we're using the internet, cybersecurity should be one of the main things that you are concerned about. Um, there are so many ways for information to be gathered about your business and from your business. And the scary part is that you don't even know that it's happening at times. So, in today's digital landscape, small businesses are increasingly becoming targets for cyber criminals. This presentation is going to basically go through the essential cybersecurity practices to protect your business, customers, and hopefully your business future. So, why cybersecurity matters for small businesses? 43%. Now, these are true statistics. We've sourced this from IT Solutions Inc.com, LastPass, and Qualisac.com. But 43%, uh, the target rate of cyber attacks specifically target small businesses. So if you're a small business and you're saying, listen, they're not after me, yeah, they are. 43% of cyber attacks are specifically targeting small businesses. Now, why do they target small businesses? Because they're easier to attack. That's the reality of it. Small businesses have the same information that large businesses have. It's just that large businesses have the money to put behind and back the cybersecurity posture that they need to help prevent these types of things from happening. 73% of small businesses reported cyber attacks in recent years. Now that was been that the recent years is really within the last couple of years. 73% of small businesses reported a cyber attack. So a cyber attack could be anything like a phishing emails coming in, ransomware, which is a very scary thing because that's where your data is held hostage and you must pay to actually uh, unlock or unencrypt your business files. Nobody wants to have that happen to them. $125,000 per breach for small businesses. Um, that's enough to hit businesses and force them to close. And so that 125 is what it typically costs to recover from that for a small business. And small businesses are doing what they can to stay in business, and $125,000 is a lot to have to lay out to just recover from something that could have easily been prevented by getting with the right MSP and putting in the right cybersecurity structure. Now, business failures of small businesses close within 6 months of a major cyber attack. So 60% of businesses that are hit, small businesses that are hit with a cyber attack, end up closing within 6 months. And that's simply due to the fact that their reputation is basically ruined. They don't have the money to recover. They may not, if they're not looking at cybersecurity as something serious, they probably didn't have good backups. A lot of things could be a problem there. So cyber criminals target small businesses because they know you likely have fewer security resources than larger companies. And that's true, but still possess valuable data. And that's also true. Your data is just as valuable and just as critical to the operation of your business as the data of a large company. And you may say, well, I don't really have anything. Well, you do. You do have things such as, for instance, if you're paying for items for your company on a company machine. Well, credit card information can be cached within the browser. All a criminal has to do, all a bad actor has to do is get connected to your network, access your network, and then they can figure out how to connect to systems and pull other information. There are tools that these guys use, and you don't have to be. This doesn't require a super sophisticated type of attack or a genius type of attack. This is something that that young kids honestly could actually do. So we have to be very careful as to what we do and how we protect our networks. And getting with companies like L7 Solutions, we make sure that those things um, aren't possible, and nothing's 100%. So don't let me have you believing that everything's 100%. But if you can put one layer on top of another layer on top of another layer, it becomes something that is just so cumbersome. It's so cumbersome to actually try and attack or try and breach that they move on to something else that's easier. Because remember, they target small businesses because they're easy to target. Okay, so not because they don't have valuable information, because they're easy to target and they typically don't put value in cybersecurity. But we're trying to change that. So common cyber threats small businesses face. Phishing attacks, that's where deceptive emails come in and trick employees into revealing sensitive information. Ransomware, malicious software that encrypts your business data and demands payment for its release, potentially halting operations entirely. Malware, you see a lot of malware nowadays. Software designed to damage systems, steal data, or gain unauthorized access to your network through seemingly innocent downloads. Social engineering, and this is really where it gets sneaky, guys, because this doesn't require a computer system to do. This is manipulating people into breaking security procedures and protocols through impersonation, exploitation of trust relationships. The Marco Rubio situation that just happened this past week, that was social engineering, and that was using AI to do the social engineering, where his voice was recorded and then AI manipulated it for him to talk to diplomats, and it just caused all sorts of issues. And we see this every day. We see this in the political venue where AI images are created of things, and we say, "Oh, this person did this or said this," and and so much of it isn't true because that's how good technology has become. If we're not looking, if we're not looking for the sneaky play, that's when the sneaky play can get us. And that's what we're seeing a lot today when it comes to the social engineering aspect of cybersecurity. Things that we don't expect. We don't expect our boss to to say this thing or that thing, but if we get an email or we get a voice message from them and we know what they sound like, oh, well, he wanted me to do this or she wanted me to do that. We have to be very careful nowadays. And we at L7 Solutions, we help you become aware of these things and help protect your business against attacks like that. So the human factor in security, common human errors, clicking suspicious email links without verification, using weak reused passwords across multiple accounts, sharing sensitive information over unsecured channels, falling for AI impersonation attacks. That was the Marco Rubio situation. Connecting to public Wi-Fi without VPN protection. So again, we don't want to go into a Starbucks and connect without a VPN. Okay, we have to think about ways to, you don't walk out of your house without locking the door. But why is it we take our business laptop with all of this personal information and just connect to a random old Wi-Fi that everybody's connecting to without protecting ourselves? Because we think that nobody's capable of gathering that information from our laptop. Quite a few people who are capable of doing that. And we almost have to be a little paranoid nowadays, especially because it's not so much a talent um, as the skill is known and learned by many, many, many people of all ages and all walks of life. So you have to make sure that you protect things that are important to your business. Your employees are both your greatest vulnerability and your strongest defense against cyber attacks when properly trained. So the reality check is 90% of cybersecurity breaches are caused by human error rather than technical vulnerabilities. So a lot of times you may have the tools in place, but think about a phishing email. The phishing email comes in and sometimes a tool may block it. But if it does get through, how does it actually get through? It's because someone clicked on it. Ransomware, same thing. If it got through, how did that happen? Someone clicked on it. So we need to make sure that we definitely keep an eye out for suspicious emails that may come in. And again, uh, there's training for that. Okay, our MSPs like L7, we help provide that training to make your employee or get your employees on par with being aware of the security threats that are out there. We use tools like Know Before to help train employees. So real world examples of small business cyber attacks. So think about it like this. Day one, the initial attack. A small accounting firm's employee clicks a tax document update email link, unwittingly installing ransomware on their system. Day two, discovery. The staff arrive to find locked computers and a $50,000 ransom demand. Client tax records and financial data are inaccessible. Can you imagine if this happened in your accounting firm? This is why you need to have a strong cybersecurity policy and a strong cybersecurity structure in your company. Week one impact, business operations halt. The firm loses $3,000 per day in billable hours and must notify clients of potential data. Now, I'm not going to mention the company, but there was a large company that uh, deals with law firms and CPA firms that recently got breached. All of those accounting firms were down for 4 days, law firms as well, because it was their entire network. And I don't know if it was ransomware or some other type of attack, but again, it was breached to the point that it brought the entire network down. When that happens, well, now th- that company becomes a target, and depending on the information that the attacker was able to gather, the companies that it services could become targets. So we have to make sure that we get with companies that are focused on cybersecurity. I know we want to do AI, we want to do all these other great things, but the focus truly needs to be on cybersecurity. That is the foundation for everything. Now, the aftermath for this company, even after paying the ransom, recovery costs reached $120,000. Six major clients leave due to loss of trust, representing $200,000 in annual revenue. So, how would that hit you? How would it hit you if you lost $200,000 of annual revenue for something that could have been easily prevented by getting with the right MSP? An MSP that focused on cybersecurity. So, the actionable steps to protect your business: develop a cybersecurity policy. So, create clear guidelines for handling data, using devices, and responding to potential breaches. Review and update this policy annually. Implement strong authentication. So, require complex passwords and enable multi factor authentication for all business accounts. Keep systems updated. Okay, that's what a good MSP is going to do for you. Establish backup protocols. Okay, implement the 3-2-1 backup rule. 3 copies of data, 2 different media types, 1 copy stored off-site. Listen, we store everything off-site, because you never know what can happen. But we have multiple locations that your data is backed up to. Now we've had situations in which data has been kept on site, but more and more companies are moving away from that, and they're storing in multiple locations off-site, which, because of how restoration is nowadays, systems can be spun back up almost immediately in certain cases. So the role of ethical hacking in the form of a CSRA, so planning. So define your scope and goals for testing specific systems. Now, a CSRA is a cybersecurity risk assessment, which is different than a dark web scan. So we have to be aware. A CSRA, a cybersecurity risk assessment, is something that, if you're a legal firm or accounting firm, medical, this is something you should have at least once a year. At least once a year. Um, but most businesses should at least consider having this. It's a very good uh, knowledge base in which information is gathered about your business, about your network, and it helps you to figure out where your security posture sits at that moment, and gives you a diagram and a plan, working, at least working with the proper MSP or company to do so. Helps give you a plan to correct any issues that might arise. So in the planning, you define the scope and goals for testing specific systems, applications, or network segments without disrupting business. Okay, your reconnaissance, you gather information about the business's digital footprint, identifying potential entry points and vulnerabilities. The exploitation, safely attempt to exploit discovered vulnerabilities to determine which security weaknesses are actually accessible. And then reporting. You receive detailed findings with practical recommendations prioritized by risk level and implementation difficulty. So that's what is delivered in a CSRA, a cybersecurity risk assessment. So every small business can afford basic security assessments through specialized small business security firms, some managed IT service providers like L7, or automated vulnerability scanning tools. These prices start typically around $1,500 to $2,500, and they go up from there. A lot of it depends on the number of workstations you have, users, and so on. Um, but it's well worth, because think about, let's think back to what it costs. Typically, the average cost for a breach, $120,000. So if you've got, and for a small business that's maybe 10 users, let's say you're paying $1,500 for your cybersecurity risk assessment and you've got 10 users. Well, yours may not be $120,000 for your cost of a breach, but it might be 60, it might be 70. I've seen a three-person accounting firm get requested $75,000 in a ransom. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money to be requested. And that was to unlock their files, and then you still don't know if the files are going to be unlocked. So, so isn't $1,500, $2,000, $2,500, even for 10-person office, isn't it worth it to actually have that cybersecurity risk assessment done and find out where all your vulnerabilities are, and then get someone to help you correct those vulnerabilities and know that you're protected and know that your business is safe, and that there's very little risk of you having that ransomware attack or getting those phishing emails in? Okay, the rise of AI in small business operations, how small businesses are using AI. So, small businesses are using AI for customer service, AI chatbots handling basic customer inquiries, 24, which is 24/7, reducing response times from hours to seconds, and content creation. They are generating marketing materials, social media posts, and product descriptions in minutes instead of days. Process automation, they're streamlining bookkeeping, appointment scheduling, and inventory management without hiring additional staff. So, the productivity versus risk. While AI tools like ChatGPT and Microsoft 365 Copilot can dramatically increase the productivity, they introduce new security considerations that must be addressed. Now, both of those introduce security considerations that must be addressed, but right now, there's only one of them that's actually addressing those security considerations. So if you're using Microsoft 365 Copilot, the great thing about Microsoft 365 Copilot is that it works within the Office 365 environment. So if you're working within that Office 365 environment, you're keeping all of that information, all of that data that you are using and inquiring about within that environment, and not pushing it out to the internet. ChatGPT by default is going to push that information and share that information out to the internet. Now, it may not be sharing it as, oh, Joe Smith's tiling company, or Joe Smith's medical company says this, but it may take that information that you have now used and shared with the web and reconstruct it, uh, but using that information as example. And so that can put your business at risk. So you have to know how to use AI securely in today's environment. And that's something that we at L7 Solutions help you do. We help you learn to use a ChatGPT or Microsoft 365 Copilot. We right now we really like the use of Microsoft 365 Copilot within the Office 365 environment, because they're built to work together, and Microsoft guarantees compliance and governance, and that's important for businesses like legal firms, CPA firms, medical, okay, where you're governed by HIPAA and things of that such. Cybersecurity concerns with AI tools. So some of the concerns that we have are data leakage. Information entered into public AI tools become part of their training data, potentially exposing proprietary business information. credential exposure. Employees might accidentally share login credentials or API keys when troubleshooting with AI assistance. Prompt injection. Attackers can craft prompts that trick AI systems into revealing sensitive information or bypassing security measures. Easily done, folks. Easily done. AI generated phishing, sophisticated scam emails with perfect grammar and personalization that are increasingly difficult to identify as fraudulent. That's what AI can do now. And then voice cloning. Just as in the Marco Rubio situation, AI can create realistic voice duplicates from short audio samples, enabling convincing phone scams and impersonating business owners or impersonating political figures. So, securing AI tools in your business. How do we do this? We create clear AI usage policies. Okay. We at L7, we help you do that. When you're a client of L7 Solutions, we help you create these clear AI uses policies. We also let you know how AI is being used in your corporation right now. You may say that, oh, no one's using it. Trust me, they're using it. Okay? They're all using GPT usually, and no one knows that it's being used. They're putting in a document with client information and asking it to rewrite this thing or rewrite that thing, and that information is as I mentioned in the previous slide, collected and used as sample information within the AI tool that you're using, in particular ChatGPT. So use business grade AI services. Choose enterprise versions of AI tools like Microsoft Copilot for Business, which is at this point actually Microsoft 365 Copilot. Um, and these particular things offer data protection guarantees and don't train on your content. Implement data sanitization. Remove identifying information before using AI tools for analysis. Replace names, addresses, financial data with placeholders, and then monitor the AI activity because things will constantly change. And so it needs to be monitored. Regularly review logs of AI tool usage across your organization to identify potential misuse or security concerns. So, the employee training and awareness, security basics for training, conduct quarterly 30-minute security refreshers. Uh, we've got to train the people. We can't expect them to just know. We can say it, but they don't know always what it looks like, what to expect. So we do phishing simulations. We provide AI safety protocols. So, where we teach employees to recognize AI generated scams, establish clear reporting procedures for AI related concerns. Within the phishing scams, you provide immediate feedback when employees click test links. We do this through Know Before. Okay. And then with the security basics, that's password management, device security, you know, be smart about how you use things and what you do with things that provide security for your network, like your passwords. Well-trained employees can reduce security incident rates by up to 70%. I'm going to repeat that. Well-trained employees can reduce security incident rates by up to 70%, making this your highest return on investment security investment. So making it your highest ROI security investment. So MSP provided tools and services for small businesses. Well, with L7, we have layered antivirus and endpoint protection. Okay, the first layer doesn't stop it. Second layer stops it. Second layer doesn't stop it. Third layer stops it. Okay, we help train employees, so maybe the first layer doesn't even have to do the work. And so that means that the second layer, third layer doesn't. Redundant backup solutions. We make sure that your information is backed up in more than one place. And those backups are tested. Okay? We don't just back up, but the backups need to be tested. So how do you know that you can recover? We need to make sure that that information is tested a recovery test is done. So, password management and multi-factor authentication, another thing that we offer. Um, we help you with password management and multi-factor authentication. Folks, nowadays, this is a must. People are using MFA as if it is an option, and it shouldn't be an option now. This is something that you need to use, whether it's accessing your network, accessing your cloud network, accessing applications, accessing your bank account, accessing all sorts of very different things. We need to make sure that we are using good, strong security. So consider cyber insurance for your business. Policies for small businesses typically range from $500 and up annually and can cover breach costs, can cover legal fees, and recovery expenses. Remember that recovery, $120,000. Keep that in your mind as a small business, $120,000 to recover. Be but beware MSPs who are selling insurance and vice versa, insurance companies who are acting as MSPs, because it's a double dipping type of thing, and and so that's like the 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 high end Italian restaurant that's also selling you chicken wings. Probably not that high end. Okay, so we you want to get with people who focus on what they do, and an MSP like L7 Solutions, we focus on being an MSP, not an insurance sales company. We focus on being an MSP, and an MSP that is focused on cybersecurity. Remember, cybersecurity being your foundation, and then from there we build up. And as long as we have that solid foundation, we can build up and continue to grow your business and make your business stronger and stronger each year. So, building a cybersecurity roadmap. Phase one is foundation. Okay, so that's where certain items get installed and your antivirus, malware, all of that. I'm not going to go through all of these, but this is how something like that is built. If you read through this and you take a look at it, could you do it yourself? Yeah, you could. Some of it, some of it you could do yourself. But why do that? If you're if you're if you're a CPA at a big accounting firm, why are you trying to build out a cybersecurity roadmap? Why is that your job? It's not your job. That's not what you do best. Okay? Why are you trying to develop multi-factor authentication or enable multi-factor authentication accounts? It's not what you do. You're going to have to figure that out, take away time from what you do and what you do well on a regular basis. You get with a company like L7 Solutions and let them do that. Let us handle those things. Let us build that foundation. Let us build that protection. Let us build that advancement. Let us maintain all of that for you. So, we make security a priority. You secure your business. If you secure your business, you secure your future. So start small. You don't have to, go with every large item, but the thing is if you do it yourself, you start small. If you get with the professional, they know the route to take. Okay? L7 Solutions knows the route to take. We know how to build out what you need. So work with a professional like L7 and we can build out starting at that foundation and allowing you to do what you do and we protect that business for you. But the important part to all of that, okay, if you're doing it yourself, you're obviously there. But if you're working with a company like L7 Solutions, Be an active participant. Okay, we encourage our customers to be an active participant by having monthly or quarterly account reviews. So meet with your MSP and be an active part of the path your security posture will travel. Knowing how you're protected helps you make other crucial business decisions. So the question isn't if your business will face a cyber attack, but when, and whether you'll be prepared when it happens. More importantly, will you know if you have been breached? Because as I mentioned before, a lot of companies have no idea. They think that a breach means that they've seen a phishing email, or they had ransomware, or their system starts throwing all sorts of crazy things across the screen. No, most attacks aren't even like that. Remember the social engineering example where you're manipulating the people? You don't know that Jenny or Jack have been manipulated by an attacker. And then a lot of times if they have, let's say, hacked your Wi-Fi and then gotten into your network and attached to a system, they haven't really done anything that is damaging or that brings up red flags. All they've done is recon. They've just gathered information. So they've gathered um, information like client account names, maybe credit card information, addresses, various things like that. When Equifax got uh, got hacked, or Experian, or whichever, well, really they've all kind of had their attacks in the day. They really didn't know initially. It's just information got leaked, and so that kind of, I mean, think about it. If your credit information is with Experian or Equifax or something of the sort, what do you think if your information gets leaked? How do you feel about that? How do you think your customers would feel if your small business information got leaked? So that's why we get and work with companies who stress cybersecurity, like L7 Solutions. So to finish things off, guys, resources and next steps. Here on the screen, you've got a few things here that kind of tell you about free training that deals with cybersecurity. But also, think about it: affordable security services, cybersecurity risk assessment, IT service providers who are security focused, like L7 Solutions. We start at about $1,500 for a cybersecurity risk assessment. And it goes up from there. Again, it depends on the number of workstations and so on. But we do, that's not a, oh, go in and do a quick little scan. No, that's a 25 to 30-day process. We are deep diving into the network to make sure that we gather all the necessary information and report back to you that this is what needs to be done to tighten your security. This is not just a little scan where somebody comes in with their laptop and they run a little quick scan, and they, at the end of the day, when they leave, they say, "Hey, that'll be $1,500. This is what I found." No, no, it's not like that. It's much deeper. It's very precise in what we do, and so that's not something that you can do on your own. A dark web scan is not going to give you that. You need a professional team. Okay, you need a professional team to do that, like L7 Solutions. Managed security and cloud services. We provide all of that, 24/7 security monitoring. Okay, we provide that to all of our customers, no matter which package they have. 24/7 security monitoring. Cloud managed services, and again, those assessments, and then the employee training that we partner with KnowBe4 to help train your employees to recognize these things. But that's going to do it for us today, and you can always contact us at L7 Solutions www.l7solutions.com. Our main phone number is 954 573 1300. And my contact information is ktucker at l7solutions.com. My direct line is 954 526 4460. And we look forward to speaking with you. We look forward to you joining us in our next session. And we don't know what that one's going to be about, but trust me, it's going to be something good. It's going to be something that you're interested in because the way we lead these things or head these briefings up is that we find out what our customers are looking for and what our prospects are, what people we're looking to work with, because we're not looking to work with everyone because sometimes it's just not a fit. But we want to partner with businesses who believe in the fact that cybersecurity is a necessity, and that they want to be with a partner. They want to take an active role in how their business grows, and we want to make sure your business grows. So again, thanks for joining. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.